these claims in the name of Christ, and Christ is now going to profess to you what?
I never knew you.
I never knew you. So you did all those wonderful things that you say you did in his name, and in the end he says, I never knew you. Go ahead.
Depart from me.
Depart from me. He no longer wants you in his presence. Go ahead.
That's what I'm saying.
Ye that work iniquity. Iniquity is another name for lawlessness. You can break the law. This is what Christ is saying. This is what Christ is saying. Brother, you got a question? Looking at this, right? Did you know that the slavery of the black people and the Latinos was in the Bible? Give me Deuteronomy 28 and 16. Just listen to this real quick. I want to show you this verse. Okay, thank you. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. Watch this. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. So the Lord shall bring thee again into Egypt with ships. In this context, Egypt is talking about bondage, because that's where the Israelites were. They were in bondage in Egypt, so they were free, right? Go ahead. By the way thereof I spake unto thee. When you go into the previous verses, right, the Mashiach gave, the Most High gave a list of things, all the glory that was going to come to you if you follow what he said. And then on the second set of that, it's a set of curses. So the way I spoke to you, I told you this was going to happen. Go ahead. Thou shalt see it no more again. You won't see your home anymore again. When was the last time we've been to our original home? Never. Go ahead. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies. So notice, the place I sent you to, you will be sold to your enemies. Who else was sold on this planet besides us? Go ahead. For bondmen, would you stay with you? Shall take that to the top. And the Lord shall bring thee again into Egypt with ships. With ships. Egypt and Israel are on the same tectonic plate, which is Africa. Right? The only split is the Suez Canal, which is man-made. So those that claim they're Jews or whatever can say it's not a part of Africa, because they don't want to have anything to do with black people. Because if you see it has something to do with black people, you're going to start to look at yourself. So they built that canal to make you think it's separate from Africa. Go ahead. So notice, situate a ship. So since it's the Suez Canal, which is only the distance between Brooklyn and Manhattan, essentially, you can walk from Israel to Egypt. Right? So if he's sending you in ships, he's sending you further away. Go ahead. By the way thereof I spake unto thee. Go ahead. Thou shalt see it no more again. You won't see your home anymore again. Go ahead. And there you shall be sold unto your enemy. So the place I send you away on ships, you're going to be sold to your enemy. Go ahead. For bondmen, there's a price on your head. And bondwomen. And there's a price on her head. Go ahead. And no man shall buy you. No man shall buy you means free. Purchase you out of that, right? Why is no man going to free you? The proof is you have Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. You have all these men over history who tried to free us. And I'm not saying they didn't do their job, but they raised our spirit to a certain point and they were chopped down. Why? Because the word of the Most High God said they can't free you. I have to free you. So this is why these men died. Not so much that they went way off, but he put his word out that they will die. No man will free you.
But as of today, everybody's woke today.
Everybody's woke today?
Most people waking up today.
No, what they're waking up to is the blatant racism in front of them. They haven't waken up to who they are according to the word.
But that's the first start. But that's a start.
It's a start. And again, that's why I said these men were great and they raised our spirit up. But that's only part of it.
When you read Deuteronomy 28:68, it's saying that so our people who was sent into bondage
to here.
All right. So with God, we were disobedient.
We were disobedient to the Most High God. This is why we're the most religious people on earth and the most spiritual, because we had direct communication. But once we broke the law, statutes, and commandments, he turned us away. He hid his face from us. So this is why we're constantly in church. We got a church on every corner. We got a synagogue. We got a mosque. We're the most religious people on the planet. But then, once we have a problem, we no longer consider the God.
All right, let me ask you a question. In Joshua, after Joshua, Judges, and the Holy Bodies are talking about.
You talking about the Old Testament?
Old Testament, right? Old Testament and Judges.
Right.
It said that he was in bondage more times because he kept being disobedient.
Right. And we're giving that with Jeremiah
and Judges. When you get to Judges, they forgot the ways of Joshua and Moses. And the new generation,
so in other words,
was disobedient again and was put back in bondage again. 18 years
Continuously.
Continuously.
Even until today.
Even until
because
today.
when we get here today, you notice, even back in the times of slavery, right? When we were freed and we did do things, right? We built our own towns. We made our own jobs. But what happened? We got caught up in the material wealth. And what happened? The most I gotta punish you again.
Well, let me ask
because
you a
you
question,
forget
my
me.
brother. All right then.
Wait, hold on. You read that for him, bro.
Jeremiah.
Okay.
Chapter 2, verse 14. Is Israel a servant?
Is Israel a servant? He's asking, are we servants? Go ahead.
Is he a homeborn
Are
slave?
we born to be slaves? Because every time we moved, we were slaves in every captivity. Go ahead.
Why is he spoiled?
Why is he spoiled? He's asking the question. We know the answer to that. That's because we continue to break the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. We don't even consider it today. No church teaches it. Why is that? They read one portion of the book and skip the others. Why do they do that?
What I'm not understanding.
Go ahead.
What I'm not understanding, my brother, is we are not the only human race out here that's disobedient. You got satanic Jews. You got satanic practices all over the place.
Right.
So why are they
That's
not
what
going
I'm
to
going to
punish
say.
them? Why are we constantly in
All right,
bondage?
go 8-5.
Why are we constantly
I'm going to explain that to you out of the Bible. Chapter 8, verse 5.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8, verse 5.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt also consider in thine heart that as a man chasteneth his son,
Right?
so the Lord thy God chasteneth thee.
So, in other words, as a man chasteneth his son, so he chastens you, because we are direct children of the Most High God. We are the chosen seed of the Most High God, right? So let's just say you and your friends go out, right? You and your friends go out. Y'all get into trouble, and you go back home. Who's your mother going to be? You first, because you knew better. I'm not concerned about them. You're mine. This is what the Most High is saying. I'm not concerned about those other nations. You're mine. Give me 7 and 6. You got a precept? You got a precept? Go ahead.
Hebrews chapter 12, verse 6.
ahead.
For whom the Lord loveth,
For whom the Lord loveth, pay attention,
he chasteneth.
he chasteneth. So if he's chastising us, it's because he loves us. So if he's doing nothing to them, how does he feel about them? He doesn't care. Go ahead. Good.
You got kids? Now, when you see other kids doing bad, right, things that they shouldn't be doing, you let them keep doing it. But if you see your kid doing something bad, you're going to chastise them. You're going to get on them because that's yours.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. My family came up from the South, and I came up from North Carolina. So I came up a little different, where it was a village that raised a child, where I got my butt beat from a stranger. That's the way I came up. I understand what you're saying.
But your main
but my
concern is
parents-
yours.
Listen, I got a lot of whoopings from the strangers, then my parents when I got home again.
But let me say this though, real quick, not to interject. It's not so much that it's a stranger. That's someone that's a part of your village. That's a part of your tribe. And what we're trying to tell you is that you're a part of the 12 tribes of Israel. So these people,
Who is Yaakov?
Huh?
You call him Yaakov?
Jacob.
You call him Jacob? Okay.
that's completely different, because if you go into Yaakov, who the 5% says, that's a whole scientist thing that we don't deal with in the scriptures.
Okay.
Read him this verse.
Amos, chapter 3, verse 1. Hear this word of the Lord.
Hear this word of the Lord. Go ahead.
Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel,
O children of Israel. He spoke against his own children. Go ahead.
against the whole family,
Against the whole family, the northern and southern. Go ahead.
which I brought up from the land of Egypt,
Which I brought up from the land of Egypt. I freed them. Go ahead.
saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth.
You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Meaning, I had a personal relationship with you. So I know other people exist, but I know you because we had a direct relationship. Go ahead.
Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
So therefore I will punish you because you and I are on one accord.
What did grandma say? Everything has a time
So
and
now
a
it's going to happen. Just like with a marriage, we're on one accord and you step out, you're going to pay for that. Right? Vice versa, if the woman steps out, you're going to make her pay for that. So again, that's what we say. We're in a marriage with the Most High. You break that marriage. That's why he calls us adulterers and fornicators, because we're trying to deal with other gods that don't belong to us. Right? So we have to pay for what we did because there's a direct correlation and relationship between everything we do. Right? Yes.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6.
Go ahead.
For thou art in a holy people.
For you are an holy people. Holy means set apart. It doesn't mean magical. It means set apart, separated. It's special. Go ahead.
unto the Lord thy God.
Unto the Lord. You are a special people to the Lord. Go ahead.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee
Has chosen thee
to be a special people
to be a special people
unto himself,
unto himself. Go ahead.
above all people that are on the face of the earth.
Above all people that are upon the face of the
Why
earth.
the rebellion? Why are we such rebellious people?
We're going to get that for you right now. Why are we such a rebellious people,
Why
right?
and we're the one that's cursed. So I always hear a lot of white folks always say, don't blame us because you people are cursed. They always say that. Don't
See,
blame
now
us.
notice that, right? That's what we went into the Deuteronomy 28, is what the curses were for breaking the laws of the Most High. So they know something.
They know.
They don't know exactly know the truth, but they know something to what happened to us, right?
Right.
So again, what do you got it? Yeah, all right,
They know more than our own
He's going to explain it to
people.
you.
It's crazy.
Go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 2 verse 3.
Go ahead.
And he said unto me, Son of man, I send thee to the children of Israel, to a rebellious nation,
A rebellious nation
that hath rebelled against me.
that rebelled against me.
They and their fathers have transgressed against me, even unto this very day.
Go
For
ahead.
they are imputed children and stiff-hearted.
Impudent children and stiff-hearted. We're hard-headed people, especially when it comes to the Most High God and keeping His law, statutes, and commandments. We're hard-headed. Why? Because it goes against what we want to do. I don't feel like doing that. We don't like being told what to do. But we had a direct relationship with the Most High God who told us what to do, who told us how we were going to be successful if we did what we were supposed
So
to.
to keep on reading in Ezekiel, so we must lead everybody else astray then. So that's why we're being punished.
Exactly. Because it's like example, right? I'll give you an example, right? You post something negative on Facebook, right? You learn something, I'm going to just type this in and it's off. The scripture's completely off, right? You post it and then people believe it. Now 7,000 people believe it. You are accountable for those people. Because remember, we read in Romans 9, 4, and 5 that all of that, the laws, the service, the promises and everything is to the Israelites. So if we're in charge of that and we say something wrong, we're responsible for it. So if the world goes off, it's because we're off. We have to get back to who we are. It's not so much what the world has to do. The world is being used as a chastisement against us. You understand? Give me which one? Good.
Daniel chapter 9 verse 11.
Go ahead.
Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law,
All Israel, all 12 tribes have transgressed thy law. Go ahead.
even by departing,
Right?
that they might not obey thy voice.
So departing, we walked away. I'm not trying to listen to that no more. So that we won't obey the voice. Because sometimes we hear the voice. You know how you hear the voice? When it's telling you to do something contrary to what you wanted. It's telling you to do something good that bothers you because you don't feel like doing it. So sometimes you don't walk away. You turn the voice down and that's probably Satan. When you know it's the right thing to do. We turn that voice down and we depart from it. Go ahead.
Therefore the curse is poured upon us,
Therefore the curse is poured upon us. Go ahead.
and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him.
Because we have sinned against him. This is the reason we had to do these sacrifices all the time. We had to make a sacrifice so he wouldn't kill us. As families. We had to make those sacrifices. But this is where the Messiah came in. Give me that in Acts 5:31. Is that what I want? Because did you know? Could you give me Hebrews 7 and 14?
When you say the Messiah, are you talking about the first Messiah or the second? Because in the first Old Testament, Melchizedek.
The Old Testament is talking about the Messiah of the New Testament. Were you here when we read John 5:45? Right? Because this is where the Mashiach says he spoke of me. Go ahead. We're going to get that for you. Right, okay. So notice, this is Christ's mission. Go ahead.
Him, Acts chapter 5 verse 31.
Speaking about the Messiah, go ahead.
Him hath God exalted
Him hath God exalted.
with his right hand,
Which right hand represents power.
to be a prince
A prince
and a savior,
and a savior to who?
for to give repentance
And repentance to who?
to Israel,
The whole world.
to
To the
Israel,
Chinese.
to
To
Israel,
the Russians.
to
His
Israel.
purpose was to give that to his brothers. Right. Where's he from?
Hebrews chapter 7 verse 14.
Go ahead.
For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah.
Out of Judah. So he's one of our brethren. He's our brother. Go
I
ahead.
understand. But when you read out of Hebrews, Hebrews represents Melchizedek.
Hebrews 13 and 8.
When you talk about the Messiah, I always understood that.
You were talking about in Hebrews where it talks about
in Hebrews, well, the first time they mentioned the Messiah, the first Most High, right? First Messiah.
There's not a first Most High. There's only one.
First Messiah. Okay.
Priest.
Melchizedek, the priest, he was a king. That's what I thought I was going to
You're talking King of Salem.
He was a king and he was a priest. He holds 2 titles. And he was in Hebrews. They mentioned the name once in Genesis, I believe. In Genesis, I believe, one time. But when we talk about
King of Peace too.
okay.
That's what King of Salem is.
But they were talking about the Messiah, Melchizedek. Now, they don't have a recording of his birth nor his death. So when we come to the New Testament, the 27 books in the New Testament, when we get there, then you talk about Jesus. Now, he's the Messiah everlasting. Melchizedek wasn't an everlasting Messiah. So when you read out of Hebrews, are you reading that Messiah is the same as the Messiah in the New Testament also?
Get that. We're going to read Hebrews 13. Go ahead.
Hebrews chapter 13, verse 8. Jesus Christ the same yesterday and today and forever.
Yesterday, today, and forever. Go ahead.
Be not carried about with diverse and strange doctrines.
Diverse and strange doctrines, right? Go ahead. So what that's saying is straying from the law. Straying from who the Mashiach is. Go ahead.
For it is a good thing that the heart be established with grace.
So what we're saying is you got to establish the heart. You're talking about Melchizedek. Are we saying that Melchizedek is that same Christ? It is a representative of that Christ. It is a representative, right? Like you have Adam. You have the first Adam, right? Because the Mashiach was given preeminence, right? He was the first of all things, right? And everything is a likeness of him, right?
Hebrews chapter 9, verse 17. For a testament is of force after men are dead.
Right? Good. You got something. Let me know.
Hebrews chapter 7, verse 15.
Go ahead.
And it is yet far more evident for that after the similitude
after the similitude
of Melchizedek, there arises another priest who is made not after the law of the carnal commandment.
So it's not made after the law of a carnal commandment, like the man is. Go ahead.
But after the power of an endless life.
An endless life, right? So imagine you have a sacrifice with an endless life. That's permanent. That's permanent salvation for you. Versus, we'll use that name just for the sake of conversation. Okay. Versus if you have to sacrifice an animal. That's for that sin right there in that moment. Then when you sin again, you have to make another. He is an eternal sacrifice. One time that his blood is shed. And covers all his children.
He want to take us.
We kind of answer the question anymore.
No. Okay. I enjoy talking to you, brother.
All right.
Because so many times, so many people, they say you're so different until you really talk, get into the book. But it's not so much.
And that's the thing we try to stress is actually reading the word versus what a church said. Because a lot of people don't read the Bible, they do church.
They do church.
Church is dictated to you, they do 2 verses, and they tell a story. If you don't read this, if you don't get the laws, the statutes, and commandments locked in your brain, they can fool you with any doctrine. Because when you have that basis...
I'm glad that you brothers are out here and talking to you guys and understanding that you do understand why we are cursed.
Oh, yeah.
And I really appreciate what you guys.
And I'm sure you heard that with the rap of Lecrae, right? Did you hear that rumor, right? So there was an Edomite white man that was up there that said, oh yeah, you guys are cursing, this is our blessing, the white man's blessing. He said nothing wrong. Because this is his blessing. He's running the world right now. Give me Job 9 and 24, right? In charge of Russia.
No, I said people in church, they don't actually read the
Hold up. So notice this right here. Who's in charge of Russia? Is it black men or white men? German. Right? Most of Europe.
all white.
The United States also, right? Job 9 and 24.
Job chapter 9 verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked, meaning the wicked run the show. So if all these men are white, what does that make the white man according to the Bible? Wicked. So we said before in Deuteronomy 28:16, I will send you to your enemies. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So this is why you hear that speech, oh, the white man's devil and all this, because it's in the scripture. He was the representative of what's wicked and going on today in society.
That's why a lot of people, I'm in the music industry. I travel all around the world. Okay. And I just want to let you know that a lot of these guys, they serve Satan.
I'm listening.
A lot of them. Well, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
All right. Good think of it. So real quick, so we said the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, correct? Right. So he runs all these nations. You got your apocryphal on you? Okay. You got it? Give me Ecclesiasticus, it's 12 on 1. Right? So notice, with this Black Lives Matter thing going on, right? You see what's going on. You see these same white people, what are they doing? They're coming up to us, they're taking a knee. Right? The politicians kneel for 8 minutes and 46 seconds to show what? What you're doing is representing how somebody died. If George Floyd got shot in the head, would they put a gun to their head and pretend to shoot the trigger? It's an insult to do that, right?
Nobody just said, hey.
So notice this. The enemy. Hold on.
A lot of people say, man, this is an insult.
It is. Hold on. We're going to get that too.
A lot of people say
right.
that.
So, go ahead.
So
Ecclesiasticus
blow anybody or wearing a cross.
Never trust thine enemy.
So we established who our enemy was according to the Bible, right? Never trust thine enemy.
For as iron rusted,
so the way iron rusts,
so is his wickedness.
So is his wickedness. It crumbles. It's bound to rust. It gets old. It's wicked. It deteriorates, right?
Though he humble himself,
and go crouching, kneel down to wash your feet. Kneel down for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Go ahead.
Yet take good heed and
pay attention and beware of him. Go ahead.
And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass.
So it'll be like you wipe the looking glass, because what you're trying to do, wipe it, is see the real image. What is this really? So you start to wipe. Go ahead.
And thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altered.
So that rust that we spoke about, that evil and that wickedness, has not gone anywhere, because now you wiped and you see it for what it is. Go ahead.
Has not altogether wiped away.
Go ahead.
Set him not by thee.
Set him not by thee. So what we do is, as Israelites, right, we're holy and we're set apart according to the Bible. We don't want to mix any parts with him. Set him not by thee. When we're coming up, we don't want him in the same position. We don't necessarily want him in the same school learning anything. If he is there, he's got to stay a student. He can't get a position of power, because this world is his position of power. But when he's shown to be wicked, right? Wait, hold up, let him finish that. Hold your point.
Go ahead.
When he has overthrown thee,
this is when he humbles himself. Go ahead.
He stand up in thy place.
He will stand in your place, which he does now, which the Jewish people do now. They stand in our place. Go ahead.
That's right. Neither let him sit at thy right hand.
Don't let him sit at thy right hand when you're coming up. When you're coming into power, do not let him be there. Okay?
Lest he seek to take thy seat.
Lest he seek to take thy seat. The invention of Brother Moses West, right? You heard about that? Okay. In Michigan, where the water's still bad? Yes. Right? He made a machine that takes the evaporation of the air and creates water. That machine was vandalized, not just broken and spray painted. The wires were specifically taken out. So the person that went over there knew what they were doing. Do you now know, last month, Israel was like, we came up with a new invention. We can create water out of air. Moses West became Moses East. They stole that. This is what happens. When we try to do something, this is what happens. Oh, exactly. Always just never trust an enemy. When he comes humbly, he comes low. Hey, that's a good idea. I like that. Let me write something down for you. Right. He's going to try to put you in a contract so he can take everything. Right. Real quick, go to Genesis. Put on with 10 or 25 with Esau. The story of Esau. Think about this, right? I'm going to show you what happened to him in the beginning.
Esau and Jacob.
Esau and Jacob, right? Where am I at?
That's Isaac's son.
It is 25. Okay? So realize this. What happened to him? Go ahead. Let's just pull up the birth. Okay.
Genesis chapter 25, verse 24.
Jacob and Esau, 2 nations in the womb. Go
And
ahead.
when her days were to be delivered, behold, there were twins in her womb.
So there were twins in the womb.
And the first came out red all over like a hairy
So the
garment.
first came out red all over like a hairy garment. Go ahead.
And they called his name Esau.
Esau, go ahead. Who's
And-
also Edom and Idumea when you get to Greek. Go ahead.
And after that came his brother out. And his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
Supplant because he's going to rise after. Go ahead.
And his name was called Jacob.
Okay.
And Isaac was 70 years old when she bare them.
Okay, you can skip down to that birthright. That's it. You can find it. So we're going to figure out what happened to him, and we're going to show you how he acts today.
Verse 30.
Go ahead.
And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee,
Right.
with that same red pottage.
So he was going out and he was hungry, right? He was starving. He was a cunning hunter like he is today. Top huntsman. Hunts animals and people. Go ahead.
For I am faint.
Well, I'm faint. I'm about to pass out. I need to eat. Go ahead.
Therefore was his name called Edom.
Edom. Go ahead.
And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright.
Give me your paper.
Give me your papers.
Go ahead.
And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die.
I'm about to die. So,
And what profit shall this birthright do to me?
what good is these papers? I don't care. I need to eat. Go ahead.
And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he sware unto him. And behold, his birthright, he sold his birthright unto Jacob.
So he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Now let's fast forward, right? You're in the music industry. You got artists. Are we not the poorest people here? So we go up to our brother, our former brother now, and say, hey, I want a music deal. He said, okay, sign this. What does this paper mean to me? I need to eat, brother. I need to make money. He was like, all right, so sign the paper. It's nothing. And we signed away our life and our soul to our brother. The same way he got supplanted is the what he's trying to do to us today with every contract he makes us sign. That's what happened. This is the wool over the eyes that we see. It's a repeat of the beginning, except now, since he's on top, he's trying to do it to us. Every chance he gets, he makes us sign away our life. If we get a house, he makes us sign it away, does balloon payments. He won't do it by force because everybody's watching him. He waits for you to miss that payment, supplanted you. I got your land there. He's doing what was done to him, he's trying to do back because he has a perpetual hatred for his brother. This is the man we're dealing with today. This is the one that has the earth, that's in control of the earth. That's who we're dealing with. That's who the enemy is that we're sold to. And this is what this man is doing. He's trying to kill us daily because it's the end of the 400 years, which occurred in 2019. H.R. 1242 from Donald Trump, right?
Time is up.
Donald Trump confirmed what the Bible said in Genesis 15 and 13, if anybody could get that real quick. So we're going to make sure that you hear what it says. So Donald Trump, H.R. 1242, 400 years of African Americans in the United States. You got it?
Genesis chapter 15, verse 13.
Go ahead.
And he said unto Abram,
And he said it to Abram. Go ahead.
know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs,
So we are a stranger here, a land that is not ours. Go ahead.
and shall serve them,
And shall serve them.
and they shall afflict them 400 years.
So we're going to serve them and they're going to afflict us, cause us pain and anguish for 400 years. Go ahead.
And also that nation whom they shall serve
So the nation that we're serving,
will I judge,
will I judge.
and afterward shall they come out with great
With
substance.
great substance. This is like us. That's why he called it Egypt. Because when in Egypt, we acquired knowledge while we were there, right? We came out with great substance. And not only that, they're even discussing reparations because they're trying to make us come out with great substance. They have to do what the Bible says because it's prophecy. Paul said the same thing. Go ahead. 76.
Acts 7 verse 6.
We're going to confirm it in the New Testament.
And God spake on this wise,
Go ahead.
that his seed should sojourn in a strange land, and that they should bring it into bondage.
So notice, Paul was a little more specific with it. Sojourn in a strange land, they will be brought into bondage.
And treat them evil.
And they treat them evil 400 years. Paul confirmed what Abraham said. This is what's happening in this country. So now with us coming out, because they said they were going to do celebrations, they were going to do all these great things, but you ain't seen no celebrations. All you saw is more death because it's time for us to come out. They don't want us to leave. Because if we leave, what's going to happen to this place?
Well, what I understand is from all the other cultures, the races, different races, black people are nothing but prey here. We get preyed on here. They say they don't like us. They say they hate us, but they don't really want us to go because we spend all the money.
We spend all the money and we do all the work. Everything is made off our back.
They tell us our communities are poor. How can you say my community is poor and the Asians come here and open up a restaurant? People from Afghanistan, they come here and open up all the stores. So my neighborhood actually is not poor. We're rich. And that's the reason why they prey upon us. We spend all the money. We spend all the money.
Exactly. So listen to this, right? So we're in the land of our oppressor, right? And how have they been treating us? What do the police have been doing to us in this system? Killing us, right? And what happens to them when they go to court? Go ahead.
Whose possessors slay them.
Whose possessors? Because we're captive. They slay us.
And hold themselves not guilty.
And hold themselves not guilty. This is a book that's several thousand years old, but yet can predict what's going to happen to the children of Israel today. Today, no other book does that. There's no other claim that any God can make besides the God of the Israelites. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 43.
We're going to talk about opening the neighborhoods like you just said.
The stranger that is within thee,
The stranger that's here also,
shall get up above thee,
shall be above you,
very high,
very high,
and thou shalt come down very low.
because we're at the bottom. Go ahead.
He shall lend to thee,
He shall lend to thee. We go to them to get loans,
and thou shalt not lend to him.
and we got nothing to give to anybody else. Go ahead.
He shall be the head,
He shall be the head.
and thou shalt be the tail.
We're on the tail end. Always. Written in the Bible because it's a curse for breaking the law, statutes, and commandments. So the Mashiach had to come and die for us to give us repentance. So that we can at least get out of those curses, so we can move forward. Right?
But what I'm saying is, we can't keep blaming white folks and other people for our.
Exactly.
We can't keep this because if you set your mind mentally like that, you can't prosper nowhere.
Right. But not only that, so not only can we keep blaming them, but we don't have to blame them, but we must keep watch of who our enemy is. We can't pretend he's not just by not blaming him.
I know,
we can't excuse it.
I know, but if God Himself put a curse on His original
because He
people,
wants us to do right.
He wants us to come back to Him. He wants us to come back to Him.
Exactly.
However, if we keep doing what we're doing and misleading people, I mean,
and look at that. Here's proof of how great we are. In our lowest state, everybody mimics everything we do.
everything.
So imagine if we were in the state we were supposed to be in, the world would be in order. So at the bottom, they follow us. You go to people in Africa, whatever the case is, we break dance. 20 years later, they're break dance.
That's right.
People in China are rapping. Everybody hated it, but when we do it, then it's a sign for everybody else to do it.
Well, we're
and
leaders.
steal it.
Everybody follows.
We're leaders at the bottom.
At the bottom.
So imagine if we kept the law, statutes, and commandments, and the faith in the Messiah, where the world would be. It would be in order, and we would be the kings and princes. Look at all the inventions that we make.
Right.
They copy everything
they
we do,
they
and
stole
we
everything.
make those things under duress. Under duress, we produce these good results. So imagine if we weren't under duress. Exactly. That's what we're trying to get you back to,
it's
the
sad.
blacks, Latins, and Native Americans, back to who you are as your heritage so you can be on top. It's not going to happen right away. The only way to get into the kingdom is through much tribulation. It has to happen that way because we're being refined as gold, right? Gold is precious and it's valuable, but guess what?
It takes
It sits
years.
there and it boils. And every piece of imperfection has to be burned out of it. That's why we're going through this. That's why we're being chastised. We read that to you before. He chastises who he loves. So he's trying to get that purity out of us, so he has to break us down. Hopefully not to the point of killing us, but some of us have to die, and we know that. And we know that. Because not only do they affect us, they don't even worry about the white man. Who else has a neighborhood that you can go in and they're going to rob you? No, there's a white man with credit cards and cash flowing out his pocket, but they won't touch you.
They won't touch you.
Because you're still a slave in that state.
Isn't that something?
That's deep.
That's
All that's
heavy.
in the scripture.
That's heavy.